Today I'm going to make a jig or registration guide for printing my linoleum block on a larger piece of paper. So the first thing I did was just make a real rough sketch here to figure out what the margins that I will have on my piece of paper when I print. So this is my linoleum block here, which is 5 by 7, and the paper that I have is 9 by 12. So just doing some basic math, I figured out I can do a 2-inch margin on the top, the left, and the right, and a 3-inch margin on the bottom. So that gives me the dimensions that I need to start working on cutting out my jig. So for the jig, I'm actually going to cut an L shape, and I want that the width of the L shape that I'm going to cut to be 1 inch larger than the margin. So the margin is going to be 2 inches. I'm talking about the top and the left side margin is going to be 2 inches. 2 inches on the top, 2 inches on the left. So I actually want to make a 3-inch strip. So I already did it in pencil. You can kind of see it. I'll go over it in Sharpie just so that you can see it better. So I'm making a 3-inch mark, measuring 3 inches on both sides and drawing a line across. And then 3 inches here, 3 inches at the bottom, and drawing my line across. And I'm actually going to cut it like an L shape, so I don't even need to draw that line all the way up. So I'm going to be cutting out this L shape here to start. To do that, I'm going to use either a box cutter or an X-Acto knife and a metal ruler. I'm going to cover my jig with the ruler, hold it down firmly with my left hand, and I did put down a cutting board on my table surface. You want to make sure you protect your surface. So if you don't have a cutting board, excuse me, you could use some pieces of cardboard or something like that underneath, but you obviously don't want to cut through onto your table. So I'm going to do a series of cuts. This is some chipboard that was from the back of a pad of drawing paper. I always save those because they come in handy. And you can see it's taking several cuts to kind of get all the way through. I think I finally cut, feel the mat, almost a couple little spots here. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to rotate it and I'll cut this direction. So I'm not cutting all the way to the edge, I'm just cutting to the inner corner of this L shape. So once I have that L shape cut out, I'm going to set that aside for just a minute, and I'm going to use this piece, which is now my scrap piece, and I'm going to cut 2 1-inch strips from this. And you can see I've already measured them out in pencil. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those 2 1-inch strips, again using my ruler and my X-Acto knife. Okay, so I've cut my 2 1-inch strips and my L shape, and I'm going to be placing the strips along the edge here and here. And this is why I wanted to make my L shape 1 inch larger than what the actual margin is going to be, because this edge right here where these little strips are, that's where I'm going to line my paper, and this center is where the linoleum is going to go. So the linoleum will go there, the paper will line up to where the inner edge of these strips are, okay? And that'll give me my nice 2-inch margin. So obviously what I need to do is I need to glue down these strips. So I just have some basic white glue, and I'm gonna use some white glue. If you don't have white glue, you can use whatever kind of glue you do have, as long as it will stick. And not too much, but just enough to get it on there. Make sure it's perfectly lined up with the edge. Get any extra smoothed out, and then just make sure it's really lined up with the edge of the board. And then same for the side strip. And this strip doesn't go all the way to the bottom, but that's okay. It'll be enough just to register my paper. Again, just make sure any little drips get smoothed out and make sure it's perfectly aligned with the edge. All right, so I have it there. And then I brought over a heavy book so that I can just gently put that right on top and let it dry. And tomorrow I will have a jig for printing.